Yo, what's up, guys? The Mitch Marner era is finally over in Toronto, guys. Finally, Marner leaves the Maple Leafs in a sign-and trade to the Vegas Golden Knights, signing an 8-year deal worth $96 million. And the Leafs get Nicolas in return, guys, whose AAV is about $3 million a year. A 6'4" centerman, guys, coming back to Toronto for Marner. Really good job by the Leafs and Brad Treliving to get something for Marner instead of getting nothing. But before we talk about Mitchell Marner finally leaving his hometown team and going to Vegas, guys, we got to talk about what happened to Marner, how we've gotten to this point, how we feel about this player, how we acted as a Maple Leaf, how we acted with this team and everything else, guys. Man, oh man, this player, guys, if you guys ask me, he was an absolute disgrace to the Maple Leafs and to us fans at times in his tenure as a Maple Leaf, guys. This guy here, I could care less about Mitch Marner scoring over 700 points for the Leafs, playing over 600 career games. That stuff means absolutely nothing to me. Honestly, guys, I could care less about all that stuff. All those stats are great and all. Sure, maybe one of the greatest Leafs of all time. But he'll also be known as one of the most hated Leafs of all time, if you guys ask me. Because the way Mitch Marner carried himself, not only during this contract negotiation, during the entire season, the way he handled himself the first go-around as well. You know, holding out a bit, wanting over $10 million, not showing up until the start of training camp, almost saying he was going to hold out. He was an embarrassment of himself. And not only that, his stupid father, Paul Marner. That's another piece of baggage that I'm glad is going to Vegas with Mitch. We don't ever have to hear about Paul Marner bitching and complaining, oh, why wasn't Mitch asked to be captain of the Maple Leafs? Why didn't they approach him? Why is Austin Matthews captain? You know, that's the type of shit that I'm glad Mitch Marner's gone. You know, also his agent, Darren Ferris, always taking his clients to free agency. Major kudos for Brad Treliving to tell Mitch Marner, you know, listen, Mitch, we're not resigning you. You know, we need a DNA change. The way you've performed in the playoffs, especially the last 9 years, has been absolutely pathetic. The guy has only 13 bloody goals in 9 years in the playoffs. The guy was making over $10 million almost. Like, it was an absolute joke how Mitch Marner performed in the playoffs, played great regular season, guys. Obviously a 100-point player. It's going to hurt to lose a guy like Mitch Marner, who was a 100-point player. Obviously, of course. But the production in the playoffs was non-existent, and I'm glad he's finally leaving. The way he was as a player, great, sure. But he's not the type of player that the Maple Leafs need right now to take the next step. He's a player that has to play in between spaces, needs the space on the ice, and we all know that in the playoffs, it's just not like that. And the way he operated in the playoffs was just not good enough. We saw what happened in the playoffs this year against the Panthers, and we saw what happened the year prior against the Bruins, and we've seen in years past, of course, that Mitch Marner did not live up to his contract, and it was absolutely justified why he got criticized. And then the fact that he tried to flip the narrative around and say, oh, I've been disrespected. The fans don't treat me well. This guy a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, said that they're treated like gods. And now all of a sudden, we've disrespected him and treated him like shit. And we don't show him the love that he deserves. Really, Mitch? Really? If you had done what you were supposed to do and perform in the playoffs, no one would be bitching. That's why all these Leaf fans are praising John Tavares for taking less money and praising Matthew Nice for taking a very good deal for the Leafs and not taking him to the cleaners for $8 or $9 million. That's why he's gone now, Marner, because he's greedy. I think he's a jackass. He's getting horrible advice by his team, and now he will be known as one of the most hated Leafs of all time, like I mentioned before. He could have gone down as one of the greatest Leafs of all time if he performed when it mattered most. But Mitch Marner did not do that. He's all about regular season points and then going on vacation for 4 to 5 months and not giving a shit about lifting a Stanley Cup. That was the biggest problem with Mitch Marner and why a lot of us Leaf fans are glad he's gone. He was an absolute detriment to this hockey team at times, especially in playoffs. You guys remember that shit? Spin around back passes, you know, and we're paying this guy that type of money. And now he's going to an organization like the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a cutthroat organization in the Golden Knights. You know, after they won a cup, you got a guy like Riley Smith doing interviews saying he wants to stay. 2 weeks later, they trade his ass. So Vegas, they don't screw around. So once they get a taste of Mitch Marner, if he goes 3 straight years without performing in the playoffs, only getting like 10 assists and scoring 2 goals, they're going to want to dump his ass. And the most funniest thing, too, is that Mitch Marner, the Leafs, could have offered Mitch Marner over $13 million, which they did. It was like 13.5 or something. And he takes $12 million a year, $96 million in total. The same deal as Mikko Rantanen took in Dallas. Isn't that ironic? This talk about $14, $15 million from Marner, highest paid player in the league, making more than Draisaitl. And look what happened. He takes the same money, because I understand it's in Vegas, state tax and all that other nonsense. I understand that. But still, this guy made a big stink about being the highest paid guy and all this other nonsense, and he takes less money to leave Toronto because of the state tax. And I understand it's Toronto. Things are magnified over here. But we treat our players well if they perform at their best and they try their hardest. Mitch Marner packed it in after the Leafs approached him saying, we want to trade you for Mikko Rantanen from Carolina. Then after his head went out the window and said, that's it, I'm out of here. You could see it. Sure, the Ottawa series he played okay, but it's not good enough to be paying what they're going to pay him. Not a chance in hell. The people that love Mitch Marner, oh, I'll never forget Matthews and Marner, you could screw off to Vegas. That's enough now. Marner's gone. It's time to move on. Us Leaf fans need to move on. It's time to bring in some more hard-nosed players, more cutthroat players, guys who are physical. Those are the type of guys we want on this hockey team. Enough of these finesse players. Guys like Mitch Marner, we're tired of him. We're tired of the way he operated. We're tired of his people. We're tired of all the BS reporting. We're just glad that it's finally over as Leaf fans. I think we can all agree on that, guys. We don't got to hear any more nonsense about him leaving for nothing and all this other BS. I'm just glad it's over with. I think he's an absolute jackass, like I mentioned. Just the way he handled himself all year, not negotiating with his hometown team, the team he loved growing up, completely spat in their faces, walking out the door. I don't give a shit if he agreed to a sign and trade. I don't give a crap about that stuff. He handled himself unprofessionally as a Maple Leaf, especially when they tried to negotiate with him. We knew he wanted to leave, and the way he did it was just pathetic. Even though they got Nick Waugh out of it, it does not matter, guys. The way he did it was pathetic. I think we could all agree that it's time to change things up a bit. I'm glad he's gone. And getting a guy like Nick Waugh, I think is great. You know, like I mentioned, he's 6'4", big player. You know, won a Stanley Cup in Vegas a few years ago. These are the type of guys we need. We got another guy, Steven Lorentz, extended for. So we got some really good players extended, guys, with Lorentz, getting Nick Waugh. We made that trade today with Utah, of course. So we got some really good guys. Michelli, Waugh, Lorentz. So I like who we got, guys. But the Leafs have about $6 million left in cap room now with Marner departing. You're getting these guys here. So there's about under $7 million left in cap room, guys, on top of it all. So Leafs have some things to do, but I'm glad that the Mitch Marner era is finally over with now. The Leafs can move on, start fresh. You still got Matthews, Nyes, Tavares. So I think the Leafs are in a very good position moving forward. Now the question is, who can they build around these guys with? Who can they bring in? July 1st is tomorrow, of course, guys. We'll have to see what happens. But I think the Leafs, obviously now, are not going to be as good as last year because you're losing a guy like Marner. But I think the Leafs, guys, are going to be just fine. I think Brad Treliving is putting them in a good position. We'll just see what he has to do July 1st, guys. But the way Mitch Marner left the organization was absolutely pathetic. I'm glad he's gone. The Leafs now, guys, it's time to start fresh. We'll see what happens tomorrow on July 1st. Should be very interesting to see, guys. But the Mitch Marner era is finally over in Toronto, guys. And I'm very glad that it is. And we'll see how Austin Matthews, how he responds with losing one of his close friends. I don't think William Nylander will be too upset about it. John Tavares probably will be as well. I'm sure a lot of guys will be upset. But I'm glad that the change has finally come. And Mitch Marner is finally no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf. But guys, leave your comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion about Mitch Marner no longer being a Toronto Maple Leaf. We'll see what happens tomorrow on July 1st. That's it for this video today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Leafs, go as always, guys. And remember, if you do not watch sports, you're more. Ciao, guys.